Are you a junk food addict? And if so, what can you do about it? We'll find out in today's video. Welcome back to my channel. If you tried dieting at least once in your life, you'll know this isn't a walk in the park, and oftentimes we have to fail time and time again before we get it right. And many people will tell you that their addiction to highly refined sugars, carbohydrates, and vegetable oils is what made it so difficult. So the next question gets to be, is junk food addiction a real thing? In the scientific community, there is an ongoing debate whether there is such a thing as addiction to different types of foods. Some people say it isn't a thing because we always evolutionarily preferred sweet foods, especially if they were sweet with some proteins and fats, because this was a signaling of a harvest period, abundance of food, and most of our lifetimes we had to live in the scarcity of food. Now, by the same token, others say that exactly for this reason we can get addicted, because it was so rare in nature to have 24/7 access to foods that are highly refined carbohydrates combined with proteins and fats. And that is what our brain recognizes as a rare opportunity to store some fat for winter, for the periods of scarcity. One thing's for sure, a combination of highly refined carbohydrates, fats, and proteins signal to our brains the season of feast and an instantaneous release of dopamine. There's only one problem. We seem to be feasting 24/7 all year round. And now we depend on those releases of dopamine almost on a daily basis. Now, could this be the addiction that we're talking about? In my opinion, for sure. If you do a very basic Google search, or the study about rats being fed cocaine and sugar will come up first, and the basic premise was rats were being fed cocaine and sugar, and when given a choice, they went for sugar and not the cocaine. And their brain scans revealed that the brain was releasing more dopamine when given sugar than cocaine. And people know it instinctively. If you talk to people casually, even in my coaching session, it comes up that people have to have their chocolate fix, their ice cream, donuts with coffee that is filled with sugar, maybe some type of macaroni and cheese, pizza with soda, or Coca-Cola or fizzy drinks in other parts of the United States. You don't hear people talking that I had a stressful day and I have to have my steak. It's usually the combination of highly refined carbohydrates with sugars and with fat. And people know, because we call it the comfort foods. And by the way, there is a list of symptoms that will actually tell you that you are addicted to junk foods. And let's start with number one, which is eating past your satiety levels and to the point that you actually feel uncomfortably full. Next one is eating to soothe your emotions or to feel better after a stressful day or stressful event, just to change your mood or the way you feel. Another telltale sign is preferring to eat alone, so others cannot see how much you are actually able to devour. And while we're talking about that, getting annoyed if somebody walks in on you or wants some part of your treat or whatever you've been eating is another sign that might be a junk food addiction. Another sign of junk food addiction is eating faster than you normally would, eating past satiety, and feeling a sensation of bliss, a heavenly pleasure while eating. But then, after the binge is over, you feel guilty or disgusted with yourself that you ate the food you weren't supposed to, that you promised yourself you wouldn't do it, and you did it anyway, yet again. So if you checked 3 or more of the items I just mentioned, you are addicted to junk foods. Now the next question gets to be, how come you aren't addicted to steak or bacon? Have you ever seen anybody binging on steak or bacon or eggs? And that doesn't really happen, and it actually is quite well documented that we have a natural limit of about 5,000 calories of animal proteins that we can eat. There were people that were trying to eat beef, pork, eggs, bacon, and it all stops at 5,000 calories. Unless you break it up with some highly refined carbohydrates, then the limit seems to get reset and you can keep going. And actually people that take part in those eating competitions do exactly just that, so that they can continue eating. Now, do you see why now carnivore diet is so effective? Because you get to eat to satiety, but you will not overeat because you're not eating the food, the carbohydrates that would normally reset the brakes. So now that you determined that you are indeed addicted to junk food and you've already tried dieting and you haven't been successful, what should you do next? Well, here are some steps that can be helpful. Number 1, take a good look in the mirror and acknowledge that you have a problem. You cannot fix anything unless you acknowledge that there is a problem. Better yet, catch yourself in the act. If you're sitting home with a beer, Doritos, and some donuts, just tell yourself, yep, I'm seeing it. I have a problem. Number 2, treat your junk food addictions as an illness that you have to treat. This is just a convenient mental framing. Put yourself in junk food addiction ward. For a period of time, you will be treating yourself for something that you need to reverse. That is a really useful framing. Number 3, in the meantime, eliminate all kinds of temptations from your home. Get rid of all your stashed up chips, Doritos, sweets, anything that you like to snack on or you binge on or you break your commitments to the diet. Get rid of it, don't buy it again, and create some friction. Make it difficult for yourself to go get that treat, that fix that you need. Chances are within 20 minutes, if you have to get out of your apartment or your house, get in the car and go buy it, the temptation might just be over. Next one up is to have a strategy to battle your cravings. Know what the triggers are, know when it happens, and have a strategy to go at it. So for example, if you know that you come back from work and between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. it is the time that you will be craving all kinds of foods the most, get some type of activity going in that time. For example, I used to go to the gym first thing in the morning, but then I noticed that I had those afternoon cravings. So when I came back from work, my next step was to go to the gym exactly when I was craving all kinds of foods the most. And the great thing about exercise is you get 2 for 1 because exercise alone helps you curb cravings. Now, I have a whole video dedicated to strategies to battle cravings. I will link it in the description box. Check it out. Of all available diets that are out there, go with a carnivore diet. Why? Because you get to eat to satiety. This is the secret of the carnivore diet, why it works so well for so many people. Secondly, carnivore diet is so nutrients dense that you will start addressing all your nutritional deficiencies really quickly. And part of the cravings and junk food addiction is really craving for nutrients and minerals that are so absent from the junk foods. They only stimulate your taste buds, but don't deliver nutrition. Now, this isn't the case on the carnivore diet. Don't incorporate into your strategy any cheat meals or portion control. With junk food addiction, it simply won't work. A little bit of the bad thing can be a serious trigger, and you can go on days binging on the foods that you said you weren't going to eat again. Just think about it. You wouldn't go to a addiction clinic and they would tell you, well, just have a little bit of cocaine. It's just not gonna end well. Next, prepare yourself for a dietary marathon and not a sprint. This is going to be at least 6 months commitment to have meaningful and lasting results. Now, the great thing is, if you stick to the carnivore diet for 6 months, your body will likely not want to eat bad foods. You will have a lot more appreciation to your body and you will not treat it like a trash can. Last but not least, get help, get support. Do it with your friends, maybe with your significant other, or get a coach like myself. Getting help is great and it can help you to stay accountable and committed to your goal. And so this is how you can identify whether you are addicted to the junk foods. Don't worry, a lot of us have been and had to overcome it to our journey to health. The tips I shared with you are really effective. Try the carnivore diet. Check out my other videos how to get started on the carnivore diet. And if you or you know somebody that is addicted to junk foods, send this video to them. If you are new to this channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in Friday Findings. Bye.